Have you ever stopped for a second and asked yourself, what really happens inside a place where a diamond is not? It's just discovered, but actually created from scratch. Shaped by human hands, pushed through machines that look like they belong inside a secret lab, and then turned into a ring that carries someone's emotions for a whole lifetime? Most people think diamonds only come from deep caves, volcano pipes, or unknown lands where miners dig for months. But what many don't realize is that a completely different world exists behind closed doors, where diamonds are formed like a story that starts with fire, pressure, and something that honestly feels like a piece of science fiction. Except it's real and happening right now, right inside the kind of manufacturing rooms that don't show up in typical YouTube factory tours. And that's exactly where this journey begins inside. Chamber that looks so plain on the outside but holds temperatures that can melt almost anything you've ever seen in your life. A place where tiny carbon seeds are placed on trays that slide under heavy steel arms, quietly locking behind blast-proof doors before bright plasma starts spinning like a storm trapped in a box. The entire room hums like an engine about to take off, and a thin glowing halo forms around the carbon seeds, almost like lightning frozen in a circle, slowly rearranging atoms into crystal structures with a patience that humans don't naturally have. And the technicians standing behind thick glass know that every small vibration could shift the growth, so they barely talk, barely move. Just watch the monitors flick from orange to violet as the diamond slowly grows its skeleton layer by layer. No one outside really hears this part. Diamonds don't just appear. They grow with a rhythm like they're breathing. And sometimes the machine stalls, or the crystal shifts slightly and forms a small fracture. And the workers have to start all the way back from zero, even if the process took days. Once the diamond crystal reaches the exact height they want, the chamber cools down at a pace so slow, it almost feels painful because rushing it would ruin everything. When the steel door finally opens, inside sits this cloudy little block that doesn't look anything like a shiny diamond you see in jewelry stores. It looks like frosted glass mixed with dust, and yet inside it lies one of the hardest materials humans can control. Now comes the part no one shows on the internet. Before cutting, each diamond block is scanned by a beam that passes through and builds a 3D map of every tiny internal flaw, every possible alignment angle, every direction of growth, because cutting a diamond isn't just about slicing, it's about predicting how it will behave under strain. Almost like reading a stone's personality. A machine with arms thinner than pencils touches the block gently, and a small laser line draws the first guideline. It's not straight but slightly curved, because diamonds don't always form in perfect geometry. Then the real cutting begins. Sparks fly in ways that don't even look like sparks. They look like glowing dust swirling around the laser as the stone slowly divides, opening like a miniature glacier breaking apart. The sound is soft, lighter than you'd expect, more like a faint hiss. A diamond cutter with decades of experience steps in next, holding a polishing wheel coated with diamond dust because only a diamond can shape. Another diamond, and he presses the stone with these tiny rhythmic taps that almost feel like he's listening to it. Every face, every angle is carved like he's solving a puzzle only he can see. And the stone starts catching little flashes of light even before the final polish. When he finishes, it doesn't look like a diamond. It looks like a captured star. Now the diamond is ready to meet the metal that will hold it the ring. And ring making isn't as simple as melting gold and shaping it into a circle. It begins with choosing the alloy. Pure gold is too soft, so the workers mix it with metals like nickel-free alternatives. Because modern rings need strength more than old traditions. They melt the alloy in crucibles that roar with blue flames, and when the metal turns into a thick liquid, they pour it into molds that vibrate at microfrequencies, so no tiny air bubble gets trapped inside. The mold pops open, and what comes out is a rough ring blank, looking dull, scratched, uneven. A machinist grabs it with pliers, slides it onto a spinning mandrel, and begins shaving off the imperfections with a cutting tool that scrapes metal. So gently, it forms long, curly shavings that drop to the floor like silver noodles. The ring is then hammered light taps, sometimes harder ones until it reaches the perfect roundness. A small groove is carved into the top where the diamond will sit. But this part is risky. Cut too deep, and the ring becomes weak. Cut too shallow, and the diamond won't sit right. The setter uses a microscope and tiny prongs that look too fragile to hold anything, yet they hold a stone strong enough to cut steel. He presses the prongs over the diamond like he's tucking in a child, slow and precise, checking that the stone doesn't tilt even by a fraction. Once it's secure, the ring goes for polishing. It spins on a wheel coated with compounds that leave the metal shining like a mirror. And under the lights, the diamond explodes with reflections that dance from wall to wall. But here's something people don't know. Before a ring leaves the facility, it goes through a test where a machine simulates finger pressure, bending and twisting the metal slightly to make sure it won't warp during daily wear. A small vibration device also shakes it to ensure the diamond doesn't loosen over time. Only after passing all that does the ring reach the final inspection table, where a worker with sharp eyes checks for microscopic scratches. And then finally, the ring is placed in a small padded box, gently closed, ready to travel from a high-tech lab to someone's hand, someone who may never know the fire, pressure, work, and near-silent battles that went into creating something they'll wear every day. And as that box clicks shut, the real question appears again. Floating quietly in the room, if a diamond's beauty is what we admire, then how many secrets of its creation are still hidden where no camera has ever gone?